Human Resources, Chapter 6. In this chapter, we will be discussing how people are the greatest resource of the nation. As we all know, in 1985, the HRD ministry has been established. What is HRD? Human Resource Development. Human resources, which means nothing but the people of the nation are one of the greatest assets for a nation. To enhance the significance of the people and to improve the skills of the people in the nation, in 1985, the Union government has established the HRD ministry. Right now, the HRD ministry is headed by Mrs. Smriti Irani. Now, moving on into the details, how people are the greatest asset or resources of a nation. In order to identify the most valuable resources of the nation, let us say land, let us say minerals, or any other natural resources, what we have abundantly given by the nature. If people are not able to identify this, people are not paying any attention towards the resources, then definitely the natural resources which are given by the nature to us will become waste. Why will it become waste? It gets wasted because people should recognize that it is as a resource. When people recognize this as a resource, they try to identify in which way we can utilize this resource. For example, let us take land. Land is the most valuable resource. In land, we can use the land for cultivation of crops, construction, and also for establishment of parks, industries, or any other thing. If land is not there, or people don't consider land as a resource, then land becomes waste, land becomes useless. But actually, land is a most useful resource for the mankind on which we stay. But until and unless human recognizes this one, people find that this is an important resource, then only we will be able to identify the resources of the land. Let us take water. Water is the most useful element for the human life. Without water, we cannot spend our life properly. A day cannot be spent without water. But using water, if we identify the water as a resource, other than the household needs with the water, nowadays humans are using water to generate electricity. This is a renewable source of energy, which is an everlasting source of energy for us. Like this, not only water, air, we can use the air which is available abundantly in the nature. But if air is not there, the survival of the human beings will become a question mark. It is not possible to survive without the atmosphere present around us. So all these are part and parcel of the nature. These all have to be identified by a skilled person or people. So those people are none other than the human resources of the country. That is the reason why it is rightly named as Human Resources Development or Human Resources Department. Why do we call this as human resources? Natural resources can be identified only by people. People are none other than human beings. So these people are the most valuable resources to identify the other valuable assets and resources which are available in the nature for us. Now, unequal distribution. The entire human resource or the people are not evenly distributed like the other minerals across the world. They are distributed on different bases. So the unequal distribution has played a vital role to make certain countries filled with the human resources in large quantity, and they differ basing on their educational qualifications, basing on the age, and also basing on the sex of men or women. So all these are the different criterias. how to assess the human resources distribution. The distribution is not done equally across the world. The population in some countries is too large, while in the other countries it is too less. Let us see what is this unequal distribution called. The distribution is nothing but the spread across of the population all over the world in different countries unevenly can be studied under the pattern of population distribution. More than 90% of the entire world's population lives in 30% of its area. Let us see here. The distribution of the world population is divided unevenly. It is different basing on the educational qualifications, basing on the age, basing on the population of men and women, the sex category also. If you look at the population which is in the developing countries, there you find the age and the sex will be the determinants of the population. When you look at the population which is in the developed countries, in the developed countries, most of the people would be literates. I don't say they are educated to the par, but they are highly literate people who can understand what to be done for a policy. They can judge whether the policy is required to them, whether the government policy is very good, beneficial to them or not. This assessment you cannot find in the people who are living in the developing countries. That could be one of the major determinants to explain how the human resource differs from one country to the other country. In some countries, nowadays the scenario is coming that the population is more from 35 years to 45 years of age. In some countries, it is above 45 to 50 years of age. In some countries, it is from 20 to 35 years of age. Example, India, 20 to 35 years of age by 2020 or 2025. You find huge population, more than 50% of India's population will be under the bracket of 20 to 35 years of age. When it comes to China, the population moves to 30 to 45 years under that umbrella. So all these brings us the clarity on how the population or the resources differ according to the education, according to the age and according to the sex categories. Now moving on to distribution of the entire thing comes under the pattern of distribution of the population. This pattern of the distribution of population is completely uneven. In some countries of Asia, you find bulk of the population living, irrespective of the education, age or any other things. And when it comes to some of the African countries, you find very less population living. When it comes to down the line in South America or in the Australian continent or somewhere in the Canadian country, the population is not so high as that of the Asian and the African countries. So like that, this unequal distribution is common. 90% of the entire world's population largely lives in 30% of its area, mostly near the tropical region, near the high mountain region, tropical forest lands, very less latitudes, very hot temperatures. In the extreme cold climatic conditions, very less population or merely no population stays there.